Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Today I am working on a layout that involves these 3 photos, and these are of my daughter and her Girl Scout troop up at our cabin, camping there for the first time. And I am using some Amy Tangerine. It's an old paper. It's out of a paper pad, and it came with these vellum sheets. And so I fussy cut out these 3 mandalas, I guess is what you'd call them. Kind of like a mandala or maybe a floral. Um, and I'm going to watercolor them. And watercoloring on vellum is not always the easiest thing. Your best bet is to use as little water as possible because they do like to curl up, and you're going to see that happen right here. They curl up and the water pools on top and doesn't really like to soak in. So the more saturated, the more saturation of color that you have, the better, because this particular vellum has kind of a yellowy sheen to it. It's not exactly the most clear vellum that I've seen. And so the paint to water ratio should be more paint than water in this particular case, just because they like to soak up the water really easily and not really take in the color. So what I did was I put a little bit of a glue dot. You see the package of glue dots there. I don't use those very often, but for stuff like this it works out. And I'm being super lazy and just cleaning my brush with my water spray bottle rather than going to get fresh water to go dip it in. Um, so I did that so that I could color the entire image without having to hold it. I put the glue dot down. I didn't spray the water. I didn't clean my brush that way so that they'd stay down. That made no sense. So anyway, so they are just stuck down in the center so that the curling would be limited and so that I could color the entire image. And then I am going to heat dry them with my heat tool. But you have to be super careful with vellum because it can crinkle up really badly. So I'm just kind of going at it from afar and doing it lightly and trying to do the back and the front so that it doesn't curl up like a shrinky dink. So that's kind of my goal. I wasn't really sure how this was going to work out, but in the end I do like how it worked out. And it does give a little bit of texture to the page. I don't leave them super curled up. I will use adhesive to hold them down. And with the addition of the watercolor on there, the adhesive doesn't really show through the vellum like you would think normal adhesive would. So I used colors that were already in the paper. That paper you just saw me testing out is also from that paper pad, but I found it to be way too busy for a frame for my photos. So I'm using this gray paper to map my photos, and the little tiny one I am popping up onto some fun foam. The 2 other photos are approximately 3x4, and then the smaller one is about a 2x2. And you can see that bottom vellum piece there is still curled up like a little taco, but we're going to fix that with a little bit of adhesive and it'll be no problem. Again, I am documenting these pictures of the kids up at our cabin, doing some tracking and doing some games out in the field, playing with walkie-talkies, kind of like a hide-and-go-seek type of game, and they are just having a good time. So there's not a huge story here. I do have other layouts from this particular trip that have more story on them. So I didn't really feel like I needed to put a ton of journaling on this one. My journaling is very simple. It just says hiking, tracking, and playing games. And these were just fun photos. I wanted to make sure I got into my daughter's Girl Scout book. Now I pulled some Paisley stickers from that same paper pad, and that is from the sticker sheet that came in the paper pad. And I am going to go ahead and put those down coming off of the edge of each of the mandalas. I'm trying to use up this sticker sheet as much as possible so that I don't, so that I can get rid of it. I've had it for a long time and I want to get it used up. And then I went to my little color bins and I pulled out a whole bunch of things in pink and in that turquoise color and in yellow. I also pulled out some orange because there's a little bit of orange on the paper but I don't end up using much of the orange. I use more of the pink and the yellow. That little card that I'm sticking in there has dates on it. Around the outside it has all of the months, and on the inside it has all of the numbers, so you can circle the ones that you want to use. So that is why it is at an angle, so that you can see the actual month. If I put it straight on, so that the numbers were written right, left to right, the month and day that I wanted to circle would be underneath the photo. So that's why it's at an angle. And then I have these puffy stickers. I'm not sure where I got these. I've had them for a really long time. But I really like them, and they're super bright and vibrant and perfect for this layout. So I'm going to go ahead and use those as my title, which is going to be Amazing Day to Laugh and Play. And it was. They had such a good time just enjoying each other's company and hanging out. And I just wanted to document that. So I'm going to get out my T-square ruler and put down amazing so that it's nice and straight across there. As I work on these other areas, I'm making sure that I like the title there. I often do that. I'll like leave something in a spot for a while I work on something else, just so that I can make sure that it's what I want to do. And then I'll go back to it and go ahead and adhere it down. And then I did pop those little paisley guys up onto foam, and then sometimes when you're adhering foam stuff with liquid glue, you need to put something heavy on top of it because the page will tend to curl up a little bit underneath it or whatever. So I just stuck my stamp pad right down on top of it. Using these little downward arrows at the top, I like how those look. I don't use those kind of things very frequently, and I have a really hard time with triangles. That's our secret. Don't tell Christina from the Secret Not Secret Kit Club, or she'll be making me use those all the time. So I played with those and tried to get them on the layout. They do not end up staying because, like I said, I have a hard time with them. But I wanted to try and use them because they match the titling perfectly. They were all, I believe, from the same puffy sticker sheet. So, yeah, so they didn't get used, but, you know, they'll get used somewhere else eventually, hopefully, or they'll be given away. So, I did find a little blue flower and some pink hearts to pull into those areas. Now, because I have the blue journaling spot on the right-hand side of the photos, I wanted to bring blue up into the upper left-hand corner, so that's why I put the blue flower up there. And then I needed to bring some of the blue and pink down to the bottom embellishment area. That little sticker that is like a little bracket sticker has a blue outline, so that kind of worked out in that area. And then I just brought some pink hearts down there. And now I am going to stamp some small letter stickers, the little tile letter stickers. I have this awesome set from Paper Tray Ink, and it allows you to stamp in whatever color, and there's a die that comes with it as well, so that you can cut them out. So I particularly like these ones that you can stamp, you can ink the entire background, and then the letter is whatever color of paper that you have it on. They also have the reverse where you stamp the letter onto a colored paper. And I'm down on the floor making sure that the impression came out, because the pad that is on my desk it's raised, and so sometimes when you press on it, it doesn't capture the complete image. So we went down on the floor to make sure, because I know that's a good solid image. And there is how they come out die cut. They come out in this little strip, and they are perforated so that you can just bend them back and forth and pull them off. And I love that, because then I don't have random letters just in a little, I use a little plastic photo case to put those into, and if they weren't attached to that strip in the middle, they would just be random letters all floating around inside that photo case, and it'd be much more difficult to find ones that go together, because each set comes with 3 different fonts on 3 different stamped images, and then you buy the die separately. And again, those are from Paper Tray Ink if you're interested in getting something like that. And they are smaller than the little tile stickers that you would have gotten from like Simple Stories or maybe even October Afternoon. They're a little bit smaller than that, but I don't mind it. I actually kind of like it. And then I used two different fonts. That's why you saw two different strips of a stamped image there. One is an uppercase and one is lowercase. I don't mind mixing those. They're all the same color. As long as there's a good mix of upper and lowercase, it works out fine. And then I'm adding a few more little hearts, and there are some orangey red ones that I'm putting in each spot as well, just to bring on a little bit of the orange, but not a whole lot. And then I'm going to just outline the entire thing in this black ink, and I do this frequently just to kind of bring a finished edge to the entire layout, and I like how that looks, especially since this layout has kind of a sketchy look to it down in that bottom left-hand corner. So I am pretty much done, and I'm going to just add my journaling like we talked about, and that's going to do it. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this video. I will see you guys next time. Stick around for the close-ups.